Hello, everyone, and welcome to the match preview between Manchester United and Brentford, guys, on Saturday. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all doing good. Thank you so much for joining me today for this match preview, guys. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have a few predictions going on, which ultimately is a very crucial match. Obviously, every game is a crucial match, but you know what? Having watched the Chelsea game on Saturday, I do believe that this is like a sort of an educational game where we truly are. Because if we go out there and beat Brentford, that's 2 in a row. And we can end that narrative of Ruben Amorim hasn't won 2 in a row yet, has he? We need to end that narrative. And obviously, Chelsea were down to 10 men. So, I mean, I want to make an accurate judgment. And not tomorrow, but Saturday is the judgment day, of course, guys. And judgment afternoon, I should say, for those folk in England and stuff. So, guys, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video and all that sweet stuff. Thank you so much for joining me today, of course, guys. Get your predictions in. How do you think the game would go? Now, look, guys, you know, I know I say it every single week. It's always going to be the same sort of vibe with me. Like, I believe that since we have one game a week, I think every single game that we're going to be playing is going to be like how do I say it? Like an FA Cup final, a Champions League final, whatever you want to say. It's going to be like a final. And, you know, we have no excuses in regards to preparation for the games. We can prepare for these games. Brentford have prepared for this game as well. Of course they have. But Man United have got no excuses in regards to that. We've got no European football. We've got no League Cup football even. And as much as frustrating as it is, Man United do have time now, and we can feel the time. It is so boring, isn't it, during these weeks? We have time now to actually prepare for each and every game, guys, which is what we haven't done last season, of course. And hopefully we will be ready for the game on Saturday. This is my team that I would pick. Nothing, to be honest, too surprising. Probably Senny Lamens. Maybe it's a hopeful thing with Senny Lamens. Maybe it is. I mean, probably Bayinde will play. I don't think it's likely that Senny Lamens will be playing in this game, but you never know. We live in hope, guys. But that is the team that basically I think that Ruben Amorim will pick more or less. I mean, obviously, there is the thing about Mason Mount playing ahead of Sesko as well, which I disagree with as well, guys. But that is the team. That's not my team. That is what I think Ruben Amorim will pick. Maybe Senny Lamens is a little bit of a stretch, but that's the team I will pick, guys. Let me know what you think about the team. Let me know how you guys would go for this game. It is a very important game, of course, guys. And I'm going to give you my prediction. I think Man United will win by 4 goals to 1. Man United will win by 4 goals to 1. I know this sounds strange, guys, but I've got this really weird feeling about the game that Man United are going to go out there and absolutely kill it, absolutely smash it. I think it is, you know, I think Man United are going to do well on Saturday, and I think we'll win by 4 goals to 1. I think we'll storm to a victory. That's not to say that Brentford are not a difficult team to play against, because we all know what they've done to us over the last few years, haven't we? And also the fact that they have spent a little bit of money. You know, they bought Ouattara from Bournemouth for like 45 million. So they have spent a little bit of money, guys. They have spent a little money. And, you know, we have to treat them with a lot of respect, of course. But the game will happen on the afternoon. Man United are generally, I'm not sure about our afternoon kickoffs recently. We used to have a good record on afternoon kickoffs when we used to play Liverpool at Anfield. They used to make 11:30 kickoffs. Do you remember when they used to do that kind of time early in the morning to stop the drinking and stuff like that? You remember those days? Those are the good old days at the end of the day. But I do think going down to London, we'll go down to London a night before. So we should be refreshed. We should be ready for the game. There is no excuses. We've had all week. And if Man United go out there and lose the game, and I hope they don't lose the game, then you're going to have to say that nothing has changed, to be honest with you, because we can't really judge the Chelsea victory when Chelsea were down to 10 men. And also Man United do start well in games anyway. And I know that we started well against Chelsea, but then they went down to 10 men. And Man United always started well, but then we sort of drift away, isn't it? But Chelsea went down to 10 men. So it's obviously very difficult to analyze that game effectively and fairly, you know. So this game's very important. And then by the time you know it, we've got Sunderland, and then you can possibly win 3 games in a row, guys. That's what I would say about that. And I look forward to it, because I'm fed up of the narrative. Oh, he hasn't even won 2 games in a row yet. I mean, you know what? The mess that is at this football club from the moment that Ruben Amorim walked into this football club has been absolutely mad. You know, as I said many, many times, this Man United are a bit like a derelict building that look really nice on the outside, but when you walk into the derelict building, it's full of asbestos and it's full of mess, and it's going to take time to clean it up. definitely. And that's what Ruben Amorim's trying to do. But obviously, it is a results game. Football is a results game, and you have to get the results by hook or by crook. Even if you're playing poorly, you have to try and get those results and try and adjust to the situation. I remember when Alex Ferguson was in his final couple of years at Man United, especially in the final year at Man United, he was grinding out results. He wasn't really playing vintage football like we used to, but we were grinding out results. He knew this was an aging team. He knew that the team is coming to the end. And that proved it when David Moyes walked in, and they absolutely capitulated, didn't they? So I think that Man United, just need to try and get the result. I don't really mind how we play, I'll be honest, as long as we win the game. I don't care if we win 1-0, 2-1, up 3-2, and we play badly, but we win. And that is what's most important for me. Because you look at the media, and no matter what Man United do within the media, we're never going to win. Against Arsenal, it's like, you know what, Man United played well, yeah, but they lost the game. It was like that, wasn't it? But they lost the game. It doesn't matter if they played well, they lost the game. Against Chelsea, it was like, Man United won the game, yeah, but they're like, oh yeah, but Man United played against 10 men. Man United played against 10 men. And no matter what we do, no matter what we say, they're always going to find something to pick at. They're always going to find a bone to pick. And that this is what these journalists and this media do to Manchester United. This is what they're all about, of course, guys. So, we have to just do what we have to do, win the game. And the more we win games, the more we move up that table. And then we move on to the Sunderland game. And hopefully we build up enough confidence. I mean, it's a bit of a shame because if we do win 3 games in a row, then we go to the international break, isn't it? And I think that's a big issue because every time we go to international break, it sort of dismantles everything we built. I'm tired of an international breaks, to be honest with you. It has been there has been a few international breaks in recent times, of course. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks ago was the last one, and then we got one after the Sunderland game, of course, guys. And I'm a bit worried because obviously after the international break, we have got guess who, Liverpool, and that is a game that I want Man United. It's going to be the hardest game for Man United. Probably is the hardest game of the season, Liverpool away. And I want Man United to exert themselves in the maximum way possible because, having this international break really disrupts us. And it disrupted us last time when we beat Burnley. We beat Burnley. We went on that international break. And then everything just sort of capitulated after that, didn't it, at the end of the day, guys? So Saturday is important. Of course, Sunderland is going to be important. Every single week is going to be a final and leading up to that big game against Liverpool. And then after that Liverpool game, we've got a few games there as well that could quite possibly... what I would say that we do badly in, but I want Man United to prove a point this season, not only against the Liverpools and the Chelseas and Man Cities and the Arsenals. I want Man United to prove a point against the Brightons, against the Tottenhams, against the Evertons, against all these teams, guys, down there. And because those are just important. When you look at Man United's record at the moment, Man United have played how many games now? 5 games? Is it 5 games? Man United have lost to Arsenal, lost to Man City, okay? Drew with Fulham, beat Burnley, and beat Chelsea. So we've won 2, lost 2, drawn 1. Now, when you're looking at that in hindsight, we should have beaten Fulham. Absolutely, we should have beaten Fulham. Of course, we should have done. And Bruno missing that penalty was disgraceful, especially if he got affected by that. But you don't win every game, and that is just the way life is. Sometimes you don't always get what you deserve. But I'm looking at the games that we played, and I'm not looking at things like, oh, it's so doom and gloom. It's doom and gloom. It's not doom and gloom, guys, because we lost to Man City, we lost to Liverpool. No, we lost to Man City, and we lost to Arsenal. When you think about Man City and Arsenal, Man City and Arsenal were better than us last season, and they've also spent a lot more money than us as well. So we need to look at things in a realistic manner. We shouldn't be judging us on that, because especially against the Arsenal game, I really felt Man United should have got something out of that game. I felt that they did good enough to get something out of that game. Unfortunately, they didn't. Of course, guys, and that is the fine margins of football. Goalkeeper mistake. If Sending Lamens probably played in that game, he probably wouldn't have lost that game, of course. So it's not as bad as people think. The biggest test for Man United is these games: Brentford and Sunderland, guys, Brighton and Everton and Newcastle and all these teams in and around us that are going to be in and around us. And we even think about Tottenham. Tottenham, what did they do? They beat us 4 times last season. That can't happen anymore. These are the sort of games that we have to win. The Tottenhams of this world, these are the games that are not easy. They're not difficult. All right, let me be honest. They're a little bit difficult, but they're not the most difficult game in the world. Great teams win those games. Big teams win those games. Games that are challenging for major honours. Win those games, of course. Guys, thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream, guys. I hope everyone is blessed, of course. Let me just read out some of your comments. Good afternoon, FM. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well, guys. Thank you so much, FM, for joining the stream, guys. Big up yourself. Hope everyone is well. Big up RJ. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing blessed. Guys, don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. Absolutely. Smash a like on the video if you guys can do that for me. Don't forget to do that. Absolutely. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good, my friend. Big up everyone. Baleba, north 100 million. Absolute nonsense. Yeah. Look, guys, in regards to Carlos Baleba, don't believe, I mean, obviously, Ben Jacobs is a friend of the show, by the way. Ben Jacobs was speaking about Carlos Baleba, speaking about the price tag of Carlos Baleba. Look, I said it before. The biggest problem is Carlos Baleba wants to come to Manchester United. It's quite obvious. He's spoken verbally in regards to going to Manchester United. And the problem is always going to be negotiating with Brentford. Brentford are seeing Baleba as a £100 million player. Now, let me just step back. Not even 100. They're talking about 150, guys, right? So let's just take a step back. This is what Man United should do tactically, right? Man United should take a step back from this Baleba deal and say, okay, 150 million, good luck. That's what they're going to do. Because at the end of the day, what they're doing in turn is that they're pricing Carlos Baleba out of his dream move. So what's that going to do on a business sense? And we spoke about this at the beginning of the season. What's this going to do on the business sense? In a business way, is this going to make Baleba happy, or is it going to make him disgruntled and, you know what, it feels like he's been treated unfairly, etc., etc.? It's obviously the latter, isn't it? You know, so let them value their players how they want to value their players. Let them have the 150 millions and whatnot, and let them do what they have to do. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to be paying that money for that player. And if they are going to pay that money for that player, good luck to you. He's not a 150 million pound player, and certainly not with his performances for the last few games, guys. So we have to say that. Let him perform badly. Let his price valuation drop. And then we'll come in with our own offer. And that is what I've always said in the beginning, guys. And let's also not forget there are players out there. There's other players, Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Yavi Guerra, Yorigeza, Lamine Kamara, Luciano Gume. There's loads of players out there who Man United could possibly sign in that midfield position who would be just as effective. Of course, guys. So, look, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, Brighton a little bit having a laugh, really. They are having a laugh. They need to understand that they are just Brighton. They're not anyone big. They're a mid-table team. They don't win anything. And they just need to do what's right for, obviously, the player. William, I've gone 3-1 to Brentford to score first, then we wake up and Bremo hat-trick. God blimey, that's going to be a nervous one, William. That would be quite nervous for me. I would like Man United to take the lead. You know what I would like, William? Can I be honest with you, mate? I would love a nice, comfortable game. I would love Man United to go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, 3-0 up. And then maybe they get a goal back. Then Man United straight away go out and get another one and make it 4-1. And that would be lovely, of course. Absolutely. RJ, I think these players will be motivated to smash Brentford. Shakti, good afternoon. Hope you're doing. Sesko is needed up front, but he may go in bound over him. Sesko needs to back-to-back starts to build some confidence up. I agree with Shakti here. Absolutely agree wholeheartedly with Shakti, because how can we expect our striker to get any kind of momentum if they're being brought out of the team, put into the team, brought out of the team? It's no consistency there, is there? There's no consistency, and we need to see a little bit of consistency. I believe that Man United should always have a striker up front, not a makeshift striker or a shoehorn striker into the team. Cunha's not a striker, and Bremo's not a striker. Mason Mount is certainly not a striker. So what we got to do is play the striker up front, and if he nicks a goal, this could be the start of something big, And he will get more spaces against Brentford. There will be more spaces against Brentford. And we need to keep playing him, give him the confidence. Let's not forget that in Bremo play that led to the red card on the Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, all started from a little flick on from Benjamin Sesko, and that completely changed the game for us. And this is what I'm talking about. I don't want the Mason Mount thing, because Mason Mount represents cowardice. I'm sorry, but it does. Mason Mount represents self-perseverance, basically just controlling the game and not giving away the ball, just keeping the ball. But you're not a goal threat like You're not a goal threat like that. You need a striker to be occupying the defenders and always give the defenders something to think about. When you have Mason Mount, Cunha, and Mbeumo, they're not really out-and-out strikers. They're not proper strikers. They're like attackers, like wingers and stuff like that. It's a bit like having Ryan Giggs up front. You know what I mean? Ryan Giggs is a great player on the wing, but you put him up front, he's not quite as effective. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like Rashford as well. You know, when Rashford plays on the left, he's far more better than when he plays in the middle. And this is what we're talking about. So we need Benjamin Sesko up there. I would be very, very confused and losing confidence if Sesko doesn't play on Saturday, because I believe that would represent a negative change. It would be a positive change. It would be a negative change. Paying Mason Mount instead of Benjamin Sesko is a negative change. It's a defensive change. And this is what we're talking about. You know, we can't be talking about how Arsenal and Arteta and whatnot play, you know, defensive football if we're going to play defensive football ourselves, you know. Big up Shakti, my friend. Kenny, big up Kenny. How you doing? 3-0 Man United is my prediction. Statement win needed. I agree, Kenny. I think this is very important, mate. I think the statement win is a must. As I said earlier in the show, I don't think we can take too much out of the Chelsea game. It's a fantastic win, don't get me wrong. But with Chelsea being down to 10 men, we're always going to have that stick that they're going to beat us with, that, oh, you're only playing against 10 men. So the only thing Man United can do is carry on winning games and prove people wrong. Man United go and win the next 2 games, then you can obviously say that Man United are doing better. Man United are not as bad as people think. You know, Man United lost to Man City and Arsenal. And anyone can lose against those teams at any given time, of course. You know, even Real Madrid lost to Arsenal and stuff like that. So, you know, what I'm saying is that, yeah, look, you know, we win those 2 games. It hasn't been a bad start to the season. That's what I'm saying. It hasn't been as doom and gloom, because we win, we get 6 points from 6. You're all of a sudden looking at that top 4, guys, very, very seriously. You know, obviously we've got Liverpool. Obviously that's going to be a difficult game coming up after the international break, especially with the international break in the way. That's going to be a difficult game, obviously. But it's not in the realms of impossibility, especially if Man United build a little confidence and a bit of morale going into those games, in my opinion. Big up, Kenny. Alta behind there will play. All right, boss, fan. Kenny, the point needs to be proven. Absolutely. Big up, Grayo. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Even in Sal, I hope you're well, man. Amorim has to start Lemons on Saturday along with top three in your team. Why have you picked Shaw instead of Heaven? Please smash his light. It's not my pick, Grayo. It's what I think Ruben Amorim will pick. I couldn't help myself with Lemens. I couldn't help myself with Sesko. But this is actually the team that I think Ruben Amorim will pick, not me. It's called a predicted lineup, which means it's prediction. Grayo. I know you're Welsh, bruv, but come on, man. That's feeding into the thing, man. You're feeding into the stereotypes, Grayo. I love you, brother. I'm only joking. Yeah, look, it is a predicted lineup. I would definitely play Aiden Heaven, absolutely, bruv. And I would also play Sesko and also play Lemens. Unfortunately, bro, I think that he's going to play Bayende. He's going to play Shaw. He's going to play Mason Mount. This is what I'm thinking right now. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, big up, Gray, legend. Hope you're doing well, of course. Dan, bro, hi, Sal. My thoughts are in the chance to make our push for the top half of the table. 10 points sets the target up nicely. I mean, we're going to get in the top half of the table, but Man United shouldn't be aiming at top half. We should be aiming at that top 4. And I think if Man United get 6 from 6, we are in that top 4 more or less. And I think that we can get 6 from 6. We're playing Brentford, which is obviously a bit of a tricky game. They're not the Thomas Frank Brentford. It is a bit of a difficult game. But I think Man United can come out the other end with a victory. I really do think that. I think that Brentford will be inclined to come and attack us, and we'll pick them off. And hopefully we do pick them off, and hopefully we go on to win the game. And then we play Sunderland, guys. And Sunderland are not going to, by all means, Sunderland are not an easy game to play against, especially this season with 10 men. And I did predict at the beginning of the season that Sunderland will be the surprise package of the season. And by hook or by crook, they are, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, so far. Big up, Danny B. How you doing, my bro? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're blessed, of course. Big up, Sal, mate. How you doing? Big up, Adam. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Ruben Amorim will play a new goalkeeper this weekend. Sal, mate, I hope so, bro. I hope so. I really do hope so. I hope that Cedric Lemens gets his opportunity. My theory is this. If I was a betting man, I would say he won't. I'm just picking him in there because I think he should play. I believe he should play. But I think that if anything, Cedric Lemens will play against Sunderland. The biggest fear for me is basically if he's waiting for Bayende to make a mistake to drop him. And that's my biggest fear in regards to this game and regards to the goalkeeper position. He's just waiting for Bayende to make that one mistake. And he will make a mistake. And we shouldn't be thinking like that. We should be thinking what is best for the football team. It's not the way to think. Absolutely. Big up, Kenny. How you doing? More cardio memberships from Mason Mount. Absolutely, mate. Look, at the end of the day, Kenny, I understand it. I agree with it, man. I don't know what to say, mate. In regards to Mason Mount, I think Mason Mount is a player that self-perseveres. All right, he's good on the press. He runs a lot. but he's a self-perseverance player. Like I say, it's a bit like playing an FA Cup tie, and you're the underdog. You want someone to control the game, someone to keep the ball. And that's what I would say, and I just feel like he needs to take a little bit of risk. He needs to take the shackles off. And Man United need to play some football and score some goals. And that's what I would say. Absolutely. Big up, my friend, Yorkshire Cowboy. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I don't want Mason Mount anywhere near the first team. He's a guff. I agree with you, mate. Yorkshire Cowboy. Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree with you, mate. I wouldn't do that, but what can I say? I haven't picked him in my predicted lineup, although deep down I'm thinking that he's definitely going to play Mason Mount. I'm definitely thinking he's going to play Mason Mount. And I don't think we should be playing Mason Mount. I've never rated him as a Man United player. I think he's as Kenny said, he's a cardio merchant, and I think that certain players get a lot of favoritism. Look, when you're thinking about Mason Mount, right? Mason Mount was heavily admired by Gareth Southgate. Even Gareth Southgate dropped Mason Mount. Even Gareth Southgate, and Gareth Southgate loved Mason Mount. Yeah, let's remember that, guys. Even his love child, as Gareth Southgate, dropped Mason Mount. You know what I mean? Mason Mount must be benched. I agree with that, RJ. Absolutely, my friend. Oh, no. What? He's an absolute fraud. Yes, he is. Absolute. Damn, bro. It's time for United to dominate the game with possession into goals. I think so. I think Man United with their XG are doing phenomenally well in regards to our XG. We're one of the best in the country. And but the problem is the conversion rate. And if we erase that conversion rate just by a few percentage, Man United will be winning games. It's a very fine line, isn't it? And we're not playing bad football. And this is one thing. The only time I would say that we played badly was the Man City game, where I felt we had capitulated completely. Right. But other than that, I felt we played pretty well all season. I am a little bit worried about Man City game. I have not forgotten about that Man City game, the way we just gave up in that game from the same players, the same suspects, of course. But you know what? I'm not going to paint this game with that brush. I'm going to see what happens against Brentford, because these are the games really that we've been struggling against in recent years, and we've been losing to Brentford. Not only losing to Brentford, getting slapped up by Brentford 3 or 4. So I think Man United need to go out there on Saturday and prove to us that we have turned a corner. The Chelsea game wasn't a one-off and they're down to 10 men. Prove to us that. And then we move into the Sunderland game, buoyed and happy, of course, and confident, of course. Kenny, we are actually 3 points off second despite all these emergency crises. Absolutely. This is the thing. It's not so as doom and gloom as people think. And when you're so early in the season, you can't really tell the season with 5 games in. I would say that you make an accurate evaluation. Like I've always said, an accurate evaluation of the season should be after 10 games. After 10 games, you can see where you are. Obviously, the most important part of the season is Christmas, in my opinion. And when we get to Christmas, the New Year, that's the time. That's the time where you can say, right, where are we now? What do we need? And stuff like that. And I think that is the most important thing. If Man United go into Christmas and we're 5th or 6th and we're only a few points from 4th, it's not too bad. You know what I mean? We're not asking for the world here. It's not too bad. And then we can go on a little bit of a run and stuff. Calculating, statistically, Man United have had the most difficult start to the season. Calculated, a fact, Man United have had the most difficult start to the season. Playing Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool coming up as well in the opening 10 games, guys. That you can't get much more difficult than that. Added to the fact you got Brentford away and we've got Brighton come up as well, and things like that, which I know by all means easy. So this is what I'm talking about, So we have to, if we get out of this next, how do I say it? 5 games? If we get out through to the 5 games unscathed, I think it'd be brilliant. And then we can move on. But we must win the games against Brentford. We must win the games against Sunderland, West Ham, these type of games. Look, who doesn't beat West Ham these days? But when I'm looking at West Ham, and I'm thinking every time West Ham play us, they seem to beat us these days. And this shouldn't be the case, because West Ham should be a guaranteed 3 points, especially in the London Stadium where everyone wins there, guys. I know that West Ham always turn up against Man United. They've cost us 2 league titles. Let's not forget that. Historically, they have cost us a few, you know what I mean? So we need to go out there and beat West Ham. We need to go out there and beat Brentford. We need to go out there and beat Sunderland, because these are the teams that you have to win. That's 9 points right there. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And we win those games, and then you're looking at, wow, Man United are already doing better than last season, And you're already getting a little bit more giddy, a little bit more positive about this season, of course. But Gary, Mount is the ultimate squad player doing work with Ahmed. He's a squad player. Absolutely there, Gary. You said it right there. He's the ultimate squad player. However, I would not play him in the starting lineup because it does take away our goal threat. And I think it does. When you take out Sesko and you put a Mason Mount, I think it takes away a goal threat, and I think it takes away a little bit of edge from the team. But if I was a betting man, I would think that he's going to play Mason Mount. I got this feeling that we're going to see Mason Mount and Bailly in there in that team and Luke Shaw, and I don't agree with that. I'm like Gray. I don't agree with that. Shakti, there's a feeling, regardless of the team Ruben goes with, we get 3 points. Let's hope United turns this around and gains some momentum. I think it's very important that we get 3 points. I also think it's very important that a striker can make or break your season, right? We need to make sure that our striker has got confidence, right? And this could be the game that gives him his confidence. This could be the game that strikes Sesko, and Sesko ends up scoring 20, 30 goals because of this Brentford game. And this is what you get with strikers. Strikers score from confidence. It's all about confidence at the end of the day. So if Sesko goes out there on Saturday, scores a goal, he might score another one. And then the next game is scoring again. The confidence will be right up. I remember when Andy Cole used to go through these barren spells. And when he used to get 1 goal, he used to score a few in a row, and this happens to every single striker. Diego Forlan went 27 games without scoring a goal, to the point it got very, very hard for him. And it was only when David Beckham won a penalty, and David Beckham was going to take the penalty, but he gave the ball to Diego Forlan, and Diego Forlan scored the goal from the penalty spot. And he ended up scoring a few more goals after that, and of course, became a legend scoring at Anfield, Absolutely. 10 bloody likes. What's going on, guys? Guys, come on, guys. Don't forget to smash the like, guys. At least, come on, guys. Please do that, please. Guys, please smash the likes. Please put your notifications on. All that lovely stuff. Thank you so much, Grayo. You legend. Always a legend is Grayo, the CEO of Stretford Post. Absolutely. Big up, Grayo. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well, of course. Sam Marvel TV. How you doing, my friend? He shouldn't be playing Mason Mount. We have a striker now. I agree, Sam Marvel TV. I agree with you, mate. I agree he shouldn't be playing Mason Mount up there. My biggest fear about Ruben Amorim, and it's something that I've worked out over the last few months, is that he is a very cautious manager. And it surprised me a little bit that he doesn't really take risks. He plays players based on the fact how many appearances they got for the football club. And that doesn't always work, as we know, And a lot of these players that he's been picking have been letting us down over the few months, over the last, 8-9 months, especially under Ruben Amorim. Even Mason Mount has let us down. So, I would say that he needs to play Sesko, he needs to play Bremo, he needs to play Cunha, he needs to play those new players, and he needs to think about the future, where we're going in the future. Do you know what I mean? And not just keep reading the same bloody chapter over and over again, because we know what they're all about. Big up, Sam Marvel TV. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Exactly. All these semi-decent teams we should be winning. That's where we dropped a lot of points last season. Absolutely. That's how I can count. We lost to Bournemouth. We lost to West Ham. We lost to who do we know? We lost to Brentford. We lost to Tottenham. We lost to Newcastle. We basically lost to every single bloody football team. Did we lose to Everton as well, as far as I'm aware? This is what we're talking about here. And these games, like it could be 20, 30 points. You add 20, 30 points from last season's tally, you end up in the top half of the table. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean about winning these games that you're supposed to win. Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, they come around, and you know what? You do your best in those games. But I honestly feel like we win those games, we draw those games, those are like bonus points. Alex Ferguson used to lose sometimes to City, he used to lose sometimes to Liverpool, Arsenal, whoever. But you have to make sure you win the games that you're supposed to win. And he said, as Alex Ferguson said, at the end of the season, as long as you are celebrating, as long as you are happy where you are in that league table, that is all that matters at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if you lost that one-off game against Chelsea. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter that. I remember Man United going to Chelsea losing 5-0. I remember Chelsea coming to Old Trafford winning 3-0. But we ended up at the top of the league because we won every single game that we're supposed to win. And that is what it's all about at the end of the day, guys. And also, when you do win these games, it does create confidence. It does create morale within the dressing room. And I would say that, you never know. You might go and beat Liverpool at Anfield. Imagine Man United win these 2 games, guys, and they win a game at Anfield. Imagine the vibes. Imagine the feeling that would be, if we win those games, win that game at Anfield. Imagine that. I mean, we didn't lose that game at Anfield last season. Then again, we didn't lose to City last season away from home, did we? But we didn't lose that game to Liverpool last season at Anfield. We should have won that game. And everyone knows during that game that we went toe-to-toe with Liverpool. We went toe-to-toe with Liverpool. And to be honest with you, Liverpool were fortunate to get at that game with a draw. at Anfield. And you know what? These things can happen. Absolutely. Come on, guys. Smash the likes. What's going on, guys? Don't forget to smash the likes, guys. Very important. Thank you so much. Yorkshire Cowboy, big up yourself. These smaller teams are up for the game for United, for the players, and the manager should know this by now. Absolutely. And especially having to prepare for the game all week. They've had all week to prepare for this game. They know what Brentford are going to do. They know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to use the crowd, use a small pitch. They're going to be ready for us. We have to be ready because when I've seen Brentford against Man United over the last few years, I've seen Man United capitulate. I've seen Man United get nervous and break down and lose. Luckily we got Bremo now. So they're going to have a taste of their own medicine on Saturday, right? So we've got Bremo, and Bremo has caused us a lot of problems over the recent years, of course, guys. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we do the business, guys. I really do. William, if we win the next 2 games, then step up against Liverpool and we can nick a win off them. But I don't trust some of these players. Seen it too many times, but I live in hope. I mean, I know what you mean. It's the PTSD, isn't it, William? That we know what this team is about, especially that 9 of the 11 players played in the Europa League final, and we have to remember that. And that is a big chunk of the team, look, we always get this little bit of hope. I remember when we beat City last season. I remember beat them 2-1. We thought, wow, we beat City away 2-1. Everyone expected us to lose. Ruben Amorim's army and all that. And then we didn't do well. And this has happened so many times. I remember we beating City away a few years ago when we came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. And then the next week we go and lose to, was it Burnley or West Brom? This is the problem with Man United. It's a mentality thing, a cultural thing. We're good at stepping up against Chelsea. We're good at stepping up against Liverpool and Arsenal and teams like that. But when, you still got to step up against Brentford, you still got to step up against Everton and Tottenham and these teams as well. Don't just treat every game, individually. You have to treat every game the same, I'm with a big up Yorkshire Cowboy, a big up William. Sorry, I'm with Sal. I won't change things. Look, I know Yorkshire Cowboy, and I'm on a watch with Ruben Amorim because I'm looking at the team lineup on Saturday. I'm going to give my piece. I'm going to say what I think about the team when it's announced, but I still support the team, right? But I'm not going to let him off if the same result happens because that would just signify to me that nothing has changed. It's the same old. We're losing against the same teams. We beat the good teams, we lose against the same teams. That's what's going to be the narrative, isn't it? And I think that Ruben Amorim needs to be bold. He needs to be brave. Fortune favors the brave at the end of the day. Greatness wasn't achieved with comfort zones. And you've got to move out of your comfort zone sometimes. Even if it means playing Seny Lamens, the brand new goalkeeper. Even if it means playing Aiden Heaven, the young defender. Even if it means that, because at the end of the day, what has Luke Shaw shown us? What have these players shown us that give us any confidence that they're going to change? And this is the thing about what I feel about things, how I feel about the lineup. Because at the end of the day, you've got the likes of Casemiro, you've got the likes of Maguire, you've got the likes of Luke Shaw, buy in there and all these. What is Ruben Amorim expecting from those players? Is he expecting Man United and these players to miraculously become good? Is that what he's thinking? They're miraculously all of a sudden going to come good? I don't know what he's thinking because at the end of the day, I just think sometimes he's gone too safe. Look, De Ligt should play, brilliant player. Don't mind about Euro, Mazraoui. Don't mind about these players, absolutely not. Maguire, Bremo, and Cunha and Sesko. Don't mind him playing them players. He's got to be brave in the other positions as well. He really does, absolutely. Striker, confidence, and needy position Sesko needs to play. I agree, Yorkshire Cowboy. It defeats the point of spending 70 million on a striker if you're not going to consistently play him and let him get in the groove. Because by dropping him, all you're going to do is take away his confidence. That's all you're going to do. We need to believe in our striker. He's the man. He's our gunman. That's what we need, at the end of the day. Now, if he's not going to play Benjamin Sesko, why the hell did we buy Benjamin Sesko? We should have just purchased a midfielder, shouldn't we? It just defeats the point. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And it's insanity. And I feel I really just hope that I've got this feeling he's going to play Mason Mount. I've just got this feeling. And I know that Mason Mount shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be playing in the first team for Man United. Absolutely not. Not against Brentford. Gary, you're right, Sal. What I meant is that he should be on the bench, not starting unless he has to come on as a sub, I think stated it. No, I get what you mean, Gary. I don't mind Mason Mount on a substitute. Absolutely not. I don't think he should be playing, starting the lineup. And I know you didn't say that. You said he's on the bench. And I think that's okay. Have him on the bench. It's good to have him on the bench in case you need to change things tactically. Look, for example, right? For example, you're winning the game, you want to keep hold of the lead, and it's getting to the last 5 to 10 minutes. You want to bring in someone like Mason Mount to kind of control things a little bit, don't you? You need those type of players. But you don't start with a Mason Mount, in my opinion. You don't start with a Mason Mount because then you're taking away our goal threat. And that's what I think. And I don't mind Mason Mount on the bench. I would love one of the young players, the young attacking players to be on the bench this year. Lacey, for example, Ibrahimov or Musa, someone of that ilk. But obviously, I don't think we're going to see that, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Gary, my friend. Dan Bro, Sal, question. When was the last time Man United strikers was the top scorer in the Premier League team? In the Premier League, I don't know if Van Persie wasn't he? Wasn't he the top scorer in the Premier League at the time? It's either him or it is Ruud van Nistelrooy. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy shared the award, if I'm not wrong, or Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it was Cristiano Ronaldo. It may have been, but I'm not too sure. That's a good question. I'm going to find out. RVP days, could be Robin van Persie. But, Cristiano Ronaldo did score 40 goals in one season. Wayne Rooney, I don't think he got up to that height. It could even be Ruud van Nistelrooy. You know that. It could even be Ruud van Nistelrooy, guys. Yorkshire Cowboy. Or maybe Rashford under Ten Hag. Yeah, I think he just falls short of it, I think. We drew with Liverpool, yeah. If Maguire scored that winner, goodness me, you remember that? I mean, he blasted it over the bar, didn't he? I remember that. It went to his feet. It went to the wrong person, didn't it? It went to the wrong person. He just needed to control the finish, and we would have won a historical game at Anfield. And this is the thing with Man United, though, isn't it? This is exactly what we're talking about. Man United will produce performance like that and then go and lose 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. You know what I mean? It just goes to show you where the mentality is at, the culture is at. I really hope we don't do that. I really hope Man United go there and win. You know what I mean? Be great to win against Liverpool. It'd be a change, wouldn't it? Change the narrative a little bit. And Bremo Derby, come on, Kenny. Source United's video celebrating Bruno's 100 goals today. Here's a question. How many penalties has Bruno scored in those 100? Bruno has been Manchester United's best signing post Sir Alex Ferguson. Absolutely. As a number 10, I think he's still a very good number 10. However, I think now Man United need to move on from Bruno. They need to start moving on slowly but surely, move on from Bruno. Now, if there's a player that deserves a league title at Man United, it's probably Bruno. And the reason I say that is not because, I think he's the best player in the world. No, it's because he works very hard. He's always worked hard and he's always worn his heart on his sleeve. However, I think that, we need to start thinking about the future. I think Man United need to start moving on because Alex Ferguson famously, and I hate banging on that Alex Ferguson, but that is the benchmark that we're talking about. Alex Ferguson is the benchmark. Alex Ferguson rarely purchased like 30, 31-year-olds. Rarely. And I feel like this should be his last season, Bruno, at Man United, I think. And I think we should take the cash for him and move on. That's what I feel. And and thank you very much, Bruno. Not quite a legend, but you know what? A Man United great for sure. Sam Marvel TV. Mason Mount should be used as a squad player. Nothing starting. Absolutely, Sam. I agree with that, Brian. Good to see you. Weston, yeah, that too. They were relegated. Exactly. And this is the Man United. This is Man United's recent DNA. This is what we do. Like I said earlier, we absolutely scored Liverpool. We should have beaten Liverpool last season, but then we go and lose 3-0 to Bournemouth. And this is what I don't understand. And lose 4 times to Tottenham. And this is what I don't understand about this team. This is why I'm so obsessed about this game on Saturday, because this game here is going to show us, educate us about what's really going on at Man United. Have we really turned a corner? All right, we beat Chelsea. I've still got that Man City game in my head, and that Man City game is really irritating me. It's really bugging me, to be honest with you. Big up Toxie, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up Tyborg, welcome back, brother. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're blessed. Hope everything is good with you, my friend. Hope you're feeling good. I heard there's like a flu going around in Europe at the moment, and a lot of people are catching this flu and catching this. I don't know if it's a new strain of COVID or what, but everyone's getting this new variant. I don't know what it is, guys. Big up, Tiber. Good to see you. All Sesko needs is just to get 1 goal to boost his confidence, and watch what happens, Sam. Watch what happens, and we'll be feeling the benefit of it. He'll go on a running game of wins, of scoring goals. We all know how good Sesko is. Once Sesko starts scoring, he's going to start scoring and get that confidence, guys. We need to concentrate on getting Sesko a goal. And this is one thing about Bruno. There was that little clip of Bruno who didn't pass the ball to Ahmad. I think Bruno was trying to feed Sesko because Ahmad didn't pass Sesko the ball when he had an open goal. And I think that Bruno, what Bruno is trying to do is trying to get Sesko a goal, because he knows that if Sesko scores a goal, then you know what, Sesko's going to go on a run. It's only good for Manchester United at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, we need to feed. I agree with that, Toxie. Absolutely. I saw United's video celebrating 100 goals there. They are trying to create that competitive environment within the squad. The work they are doing behind the scenes for psychology size is needed. It is needed. It is needed. But unfortunately, can I say something? Unfortunately, these players have had a history of failing. And when the players have had a history of failing, i.e. Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Dalot, it's very hard to get that back at their age. It's very hard to get that back at their age. You need to create a new legacy. You need to create a new legacy. You need to create a new team. Now, when Man United brought through the class of 92, Alex Ferguson we knew we needed to freshen it up a little bit, even if that meant removing legends from the football club. Sometimes you have to freshen it up a little bit, guys. You do. And I just feel like we're trying to clutch on straws a little bit. We're trying to clutch on straws. These motivational speeches, it weren't a very motivational room, though, wasn't it? No, they weren't really. They were just looking like this. Ahmad was looking at his phone, and Bremer was like this. Really, it's a little bit patronizing, isn't it? I think that what Man United need is success on the football pitch, and that's what we need, and that is going to change absolutely everything. Gary, it's these mid-table teams who pull out of the stops to beat us. We need to focus on that and take the points. The problem is, isn't it, Gary, is that we've always been the team that teams raise their game against, and even when we're not at our best, these teams still raise their game against us because it's Manchester United. It's the name Manchester United, and they know the hype that surrounds Manchester United. So they all raise their game against Manchester United, don't they? And and I really hope that we change the record and we're ready for this game, because boy, Brentford will be ready for this game. They will be ready for this game. They will be ready to take us on. And you know what? We need to be ready ourselves, of course. Tyborg, I think we are going to improve a lot in the next 5 or 6 games. I hope so. Obviously, the difficult one is Liverpool away. I'm not saying that the others aren't difficult, because the others we have lost against. We lost to Brentford last season. We also lost against Brighton as well. So we got Brighton and we got Liverpool, we got Sunderland, we got Brentford. Look, guys, the great thing about football, like I've always said, football is the great equalizer. Football, you can change your destiny, you can make history, in the next few games. You can do that. There's always a chance to make history in football. Man United need to start making new history. We've lost a lot of records over the years. No, a lot of very, very, respected records we've lost. Now it's about time that we created new records. That's what I'll say to these Man United players. We're still the biggest team in the world, and that's what I would say to these players. Now go out on the pitch and start getting results, because that's what it should be. Team bonding, all this stuff is great. Showing 100 goals, great. What we need to show is that what we're going to do on the pitch, and that's it. Celebrating mediocrity is not for me. It's a bit like the training pictures, team A or team B. We won, team A, team B. It's a bit like those pictures that they show. It's very patronizing. And what Man United need to do to change the narrative, the best thing you do is win football matches. Danbro, big up. Sal, reason I asked is because a striker's goal tally is important for the season, and we've been lacking that over the seasons. Now, hopefully, Sesko's man to change that. I believe he is, Danbro. I really do believe he is, and this is what I'm talking about. It's confidence, isn't it? Confidence. Goal scoring breeds confidence, which adds to numbers. Which makes you score goals. And I remember, as I said earlier, when Andy Cole went through a barren spell, and he couldn't score a goal for love nor money. And then as soon as he gets that goal, then suddenly he's on a winning run. And like I said, the likes of Diego Forlan, who went 27 games without scoring a goal. And it's addictive. I would say that in regards to not scoring, it becomes addictive. You're not scoring. The confidence becomes contagious. And to be honest with you, in other games. But also, on the flip side, so does scoring goals. Scoring goals is addictive as well. And that's what I'm talking about, Toxie, everyone is blaming Amorim's system, but some of these players fail to take accountability on the pitch. Look, at the end of the day, That is exactly right, Toxie. I agree with that. Has nothing to do with system. System's just an easy stick to beat Ruben Amorim with. It wasn't his system that beat Chelsea, was it? It wasn't his system that dominated the Arsenal game, was it, either? It wasn't his system that beat Burnley. That should have been 4-0 up at half-time. Man United's biggest problem, as we know, is being prolific, is scoring chances, is taking... And another thing I would say about Man United, when do you ever see Man United scoring half chances? I look at the game against Liverpool the other day, right? Look at the game against Liverpool the other day when that Gravenberch goal. You remember that Gravenberch goal? And it looped over the goalkeeper. A great finish. These are the type of half chances Man United don't score. Man United make it very difficult for ourselves. We almost made it we did make it very difficult for ourselves against Chelsea when we should have been home and dry in the first half, We need to make the right decisions, do the right things at the right time when it's needed for the team. Unfortunately, we got a lot of greed in our team. There's a lot of people, and I take it back to the celebration of Bruno Fernandes' goal. For example, there didn't seem to be any vibes there. There weren't. I'm watching it, I'm looking at it, and I didn't see any vibes. And I think what we need, we need to think about. Yeah, guys, listen. We play as a team. When someone's in a better position, we pass the ball to them. We don't do a little shimmy and dance like here we got Strictly Come Dancing, because it's not that. You need to pass the ball to the right man. Stop trying to be a hero. At the right time. Football is a simple game. Football is a simple game. And when you keep it simple, sometimes it's the most effective way of playing. And I would say that sometimes when Man United used to play, even under Alex Ferguson, the great thing about Man United back then is that we used to keep it simple. And that's what I would say about that. Big up, Michael. How you doing, our friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope you're blessed. Johnny, how you doing, mate? Mainly should be starting this game now. This Casemiro isn't available. If I see Ugarte, I lose faith before the game because Ugarte is a really terrible player, in my opinion. Now, Johnny, this is where we need to understand about football, Johnny. Ugarte is a number 6. Mainu's a number 8. If Bruno plays a number 8, we're not going to play 2 number 8s. All right? That's just to say. So Ugarte will play. Ugarte will play. You can't play Mainu and Bruno in the middle of the park. And this is what people are forgetting. Casemiro comes on for Ugarte. Ugarte comes on for Casemiro because they are number 6s. Right? They are defensive midfielders. You can't put Mainu in a defensive midfield position. We're going to get cooked. Trust me, especially with Bruno there. When you're looking at it, again, you're falling into the same trap, Johnny. You're not really analysing games, right? The biggest problem at Man United is not Ugarte. It's not Casemiro. It's something that we've been banging on about a long time, which you haven't mentioned. When you play with a midfielder that is ill-disciplined, for example, Bruno Fernandes, that is the problem. There's no coincidence that we've conceded 3 goals from Bruno Fernandes' errors, this season so far, right? You need to look at things on the whole pose. You don't just look at teams. Look, when Bruno Fernandes goes out of position, guys, and guys, I feel embarrassed because I work in football and I know about tactics and that, and I'm not trying to school you, Johnny, but when a midfielder like Bruno moves away and goes into the left back position or goes and does defensive work, someone like Ugarte is left isolated in the midfield. Teams can do a triangle over that one player and absolutely school him and get past him, bypass that midfield. One content creator said it as it is, and he said it very well. He said, have you noticed how quickly teams go from one end of the pitch to the other end of the pitch, and in seconds, they're near Man United's box? It's because of that. Exactly because of that. And it's nothing to do with Ugarte, because when Ugarte goes to Uruguay duty, Ugarte kills it. When Ugarte was playing for Paris Saint-Germain, he had some of the best stats in Europe. So I wouldn't say that. I would like to look at things from above, right? Mainu needs to replace Bruno, not Ugarte. They're 2 different positions, mate. You might as well play Dorgu in the middle of the midfield. They're 2 different positions, I would say. Michael, big up, Johnny. In your starting lineup, where is our new goalkeeper we signed? I don't know yet, mate. Hasn't played yet in the starting lineup. We're going to have to ask Mr. Ruben Amorim, of course. We want to win at Anfield, but I really put on a good game we can be proud of. And we did that. Look, at the end of the day, we did that last season, didn't we, Gary? And we should have won that. We went toe-to-toe with Liverpool. And when people talk about the system, why would we go to Anfield and dominate a game against Anfield? Why would this season we dominate a game against Arsenal? Why would we beat Chelsea? Why would we beat Burnley and should have been 4-0 up at half-time if the system is the problem? The problem that Man United are having right now is implementation, and it is actually attitude and treating every game seriously. And this is a problem that we've had for many, many years. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. System is just a stick to beat someone with. As I've said, Pep Guardiola transitions into a back three. You know, Glasner, one of the managers of the season, back three. You know, you look at Leverkusen, won the Bundesliga, back three. You know, it's nothing. Even the Real Madrid teams played a back three at times under Zinedine Zidane. So what I would say is that, you know, we need to look at what the true problem is in the team. The true problem in the team. You know, the proper problem in the team, not just the buzzword. You know, the buzzword that's the problem in the team. You know, and that is what we have, you know. Sam, Amorim needs to start telling our attacking players to pass in the ball. Sesko at dangerous area. Amorim refuses to pass the ball and Sesko against Chelsea. Yeah. And what would that goal done for his confidence, Sam? How would his confidence would have grown with that goal? If he got that goal, it would have been amazing. It would have been magnificent, wouldn't it? You know, he would have went on a run, the confidence that, because the hardest thing for a new striker in a new league, right, in a tough league, is to score his first goal. And once he gets that first goal, you know that he's going to go on a run. I got this feeling about Sesko, I really do. William, next 3 games are massive for us and even bigger for Amorim. It could be amazing, but good keep up my feet on the ground and just caution. William, we have to be cautiously optimistic. Absolutely. You know, given the history of what Man United have done over the years, I'm very, very worried as well as excited for this game. It is cautious because I don't want to jump in and say, yeah, I'm ready for this game. We beat Chelsea, because I'm not going to do that, because I know that every game is different. And I know what Man United have done over the years. And I know these are the same players, you know, that have done that. I don't trust these players. I don't. And this is the thing, you know, it's going to take a lot more than beating Chelsea with 10 men against 10 men for half a game to regain my confidence of what they did. Because I remember the Europa League final. I remember Mason Mount. I remember Bruno Fernandes. I remember all those players. You know, I remember them. I do remember. I remember all the players that played in that game. You know, and I remember how they failed and didn't sniff on Tottenham's goal. That was probably one of their biggest games they played in years. They had a chance to qualify for the Champions League, and this is why I don't trust them. You know, I don't trust them. You know, so this is why I'm going into that game. I'm thinking about that game against Brentford. I'm thinking, you know what? Let's wait and see what happens. Let's just see. I mean, Man United getting an early goal would be great, you know. Hey, what's going on, Dale? How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. What's happening, Sal, bro? Yeah, we didn't feed the ball to Sesko with all the runs he makes. It's a joke. Everyone going on like they're some one-man team. This is the thing, isn't it? You know, if I get that ball, Daryl, right, from the midfield, and I say, look, I've got this player on my left, I've got this player on my right. They're in better positions than me, but I'm not going to pass them. I'm going to try and shoot. When you calculate at the end of the season, I might have more goals, most goals in the team. But I've only got the most goals in the team because I've taken it upon myself to shoot every game when I could have passed it. You know? But ultimately, when you look at the bigger picture, we're losing more games than we would have done if I just passed the goddamn ball. Now, and that's what I would say about stat padding and things like that. You know, that's what I would say about that. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can remove a guy from the team that has fantastic stats, probably your best stats. But when you remove them, the team improves. You know, and that's the thing I would say. And that's what we got to remember, you know. Now, look, great thing about Man United and what highlighted about Man United over the years, the great Alex Ferguson teams and that, is that we weren't greedy. Beckham only concentrated on getting that ball to his striker. Rooney only concentrated on collaborating with his strikers. You know, every player in that team, Ryan Giggs as well, they have the odd time when they take it on themselves, and they rarely fail. But other than that, the most important team thing for them to do is pass that ball. People need to remember this, guys. I come from a generation of Ryan Giggs, Lee Sharp, Andre Kanchelskis, David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Brian Robson, right? I criticize players because I've seen the best, you know? And I don't know if you watched the Des Walker interview a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about Brian Robson, and he's talking about if England had Brian Robson, England would have won the World Cup. That is how influential our players were. That is how big our players were. You know, and that's what I'm talking about here. I look at Man United's team right now, and do you see anyone that resembles Brian Robson? Now, there's players in that team, right, who got great characters. And potentially great characters, potential captains, right? Potential captains. You're looking at De Ligt, looking at Cunha, you're looking at Licha Martinez, you're looking at Mbeumo. You're looking at these type of players, they've got great character. They're all new players, by the way. I'm looking at the Brunos, the Casemiros, the Ugartes, the Maguires, and Maguire's got a good character, but I don't think he's a good player, a great player. I think he's got a great character. He would make a great manager one day. And you look at the rest of them and you think, how many winners is in this team? How many people that you look at and you think, he's going to get us through when the chips are down, he's going to get us through. Not only that, when we're looking at our captain, who has a fit when getting barged by a referee, these are the things I want to stop at Man United. You can't give us an influential speech when you're doing things like that. And this is what I'm talking. You can't tell the bench that I want to come off when the chips are down, Now, look, guys, it's going to take a collective. It's going to take a big effort from Man United. I believe in them. And cautiously, just don't let us down again. We got that game against Brentford. This is a big opportunity for you to prove to me and to all the fans around the world that you've turned a corner. You've done it. You've turned a corner. Things are different now. Do you know what I mean? Brentford 1, Manchester United 5, says Michael. I did say 4-1. Bruno hat-trick, says Michael. There you go. I will take that all day long. Ugarte will be better in a 4-3-3. I'm a firm believer that, look, Ugarte's not playing well because the partner is next to him. Casemiro isn't playing well because the partner that's next to him is not a midfielder. Ugarte played in a 4-3-3 under Erik ten Hag, and we were known as Bagel FC. And that's the thing. It's not the formation. It's not the tactics. Great players play in any systems anyway. It's the thing is when you shoehorn players into positions. When you shoehorn players into positions, that's when the problem comes. And I'll give you an example. Man United had the best team in the world in 98-99. In the 98-99 Champions League final, Man United lost Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs through suspension. Paul Scholes and Roy Keane because of suspension. What happened to the team? Beckham had to move to the middle. Ryan Giggs had to move to the right when he's a left footer. Jesper Bonface moved to the left, who was a left midfielder, but he was the backup left midfielder, right? The balance of the team was all over the place. And Bayern Munich should have been 3-0 up. And this is what I talk about. It only takes one piece of the chess puzzle to ruin the whole board. So when you move Bruno Fernandes into that midfield, it doesn't matter how good he is. It's like moving Wayne Rooney into midfield. And Wayne Rooney did move into the midfield and it didn't work, did it? Even no matter how good Wayne Rooney was, moving him into the midfield didn't work. Right? And this is what affects the other midfielders. I'm not exclusively saying that's the problem, but boy oh boy, through my experience, this is a big problem. When your midfield partner next to you, right? Let me give you an example. What happens when the centre-back, your centre-back partner, stays up front and you're left on your own? What happens? If you get counter-attacked, you're screwed, right? It's exactly what happens in midfield. When Bruno Fernandes goes missing all over the pitch and leaves Ugarte or Casemiro to fend for himself, 3 against 1, what do you expect Casemiro to do? How's he supposed to look like any kind of good player? Did you see Casemiro? Did you see Ugarte with Mainu when he played with Mainu in the friendlies? Now, this is down to Ruben Amorim. And we all know what needs to be done. Bruno needs to be in the number 10. I did say it, guys. I would move Bremo to the right wing. I would play Fernandes and Cunha as the number 10s. And I'll drop Ahmed. That's what I do. That's what I'll do. Because I think that Bremo is a fantastic right winger. Sal, do you think Shaw should be in the starting 11? I don't think he should be in the starting 11. But this is my predicted starting 11. But he will be in the starting 11, I think. I don't think that Ruben Amorim is going to play Aiden Heaven, even though Aiden Heaven does need to play, of course, guys. Absolutely. He does. 18 bloody likes, guys. Listen. Come on, guys. Don't forget to smash a like guys, please. If you could smash a like, very good for the video. Guys, it's hardly worth Sal making these videos. If you're not going to bloody smash the like button, put your bloody fingers out. Thank you so much, Gray. You're absolute legend, mate. Yes, please subscribe to the channel, guys, and smash a like on the video, guys. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah. It's a nice thing to do. It's the fair thing to do. Gray was right. It's the fair thing to do. Let's get the lights up, guys. Guys, thank you everyone for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, I'm live tomorrow for guys. Fuck 433. Absolutely, mate. It's stupid, guys. It's stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. Stop talking about systems. Systems don't mean anything. Stop trying to be smart. All right. They don't mean anything, guys. I'm tired of hearing about systems. Daryl's absolutely spot on. Fuck the 4-1-1. It's not the system. Stop with this again. It's the players in the wrong positions. Yeah, Michael, you don't know your leg from your hand, so please don't go on about systems, mate. Please, mate. You know what I mean? You're already on cloud 9, so don't just stop going about. You're smoking that Charlie, mate. Guys, thank you so much, guys, and take it easy. Have a great day, great evening, great night, and I'll see you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. I am on Judge Mo's channel later on, guys. I am on Judge Mo's channel later on, of course. So don't forget to join me for that. I will post it on the link and everything on my YouTube, guys. So don't forget to join me for that. And guys, join me for that. Drop your comments in. Big up Sal. Big up Sal. Big up Sal. Big up Sal. That's what it's all about, guys. Thank you, everyone. See you in the morning, Daryl. Take it easy. I'm on Judge Mo's channel later on, of course. And I'll put the link on YouTube when it comes. Okay, guys. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow if I don't see you tonight. Take it easy. Peace.